What if I told you that a kingdom smaller than Indiana has been the stage for more pivotal moments in human history than nations 10 times its size? That this modest Middle Eastern country witnessed the birth of agriculture, the rise of 3 world religions, and the clash of empires spanning 3 millennia. Jordan has punched above its weight class better than almost any nation on earth. In 1812, a Swiss explorer stumbled through a narrow desert canyon and discovered a rose-red city carved from living rock. But Petra was merely the crown jewel of a land that has been the crossroads of civilization for 9,000 years. This is the story of how Jordan became the hinge upon which the door of history has swung time and again. Our story begins with shadows dancing across limestone cliffs 9,000 years ago. At Ain Ghazal, near modern Ammon, humans were conducting one of civilization's greatest experiments, abandoning hunting and gathering for settled agriculture. These early Jordanians left behind artifacts that still haunt archaeologists. Towering statues of lime plaster, some over 3 feet tall, with obsidian eyes that peer across millennia. Some bore 2 heads on a single body. Others had legs of impossible proportions. Were they gods, ancestors, or something we have forgotten how to understand? By 3000 BCE, 3 kingdoms emerged from the dust. Ammon in the north, centered around modern Amman, Moab in the center along the Dead Sea's eastern shores, and Edom in the south, controlling the vital trade routes to Arabia. These were not mere tribes, but sophisticated states with their own languages, laws, and literature. The Moabite Stone, discovered in 1868, reveals King Mesha boasting of victories over Israel in language so vivid you can almost hear bronze weapons clashing. The Hebrew Bible tells us these kingdoms were bound by blood. The Edomites descended from Esau, brother to Jacob. The Ammonites and Moabites traced their lineage to Lot, Abraham's nephew. Nations bound by kinship, yet divided by politics and faith. Ruth, the Moabite woman who became King David's great-grandmother, embodied this complexity. Even in an age of tribal warfare, human connections could transcend borders. Like a great wheel of fortune, empires rose and fell, each claiming Jordan as their prize. The Assyrians arrived with their war machines. Then came Nebuchadnezzar's Babylonians. The Persians followed, then Alexander's Greeks. Each conquest added new threads to Jordan's cultural tapestry. But in the 1st century BCE, Jordan witnessed its golden age. From the southern deserts emerged the Nabataeans. These former nomads transformed themselves into master merchants, engineers, and artists. Their capital, Petra, carved from living rock in a hidden valley, became the hub of a commercial empire stretching from Damascus to the Red Sea. The Nabataeans developed ingenious water collection systems, turning wilderness into gardens. They controlled the incense trade from Arabia, silk from China, spices from India. Everything passed through their rose-red treasury. The Romans, ever hungry for expansion, could not ignore such a prize. In 106 CE, Emperor Trajan absorbed the Nabataean kingdom. Yet, this was almost a merger rather than destruction. Nabataean architectural genius influenced Roman building techniques. Their trade networks enriched Roman coffers. Their desert survival knowledge proved invaluable to Roman legions. As Rome adopted Christianity, Jordan became a cradle of the new faith. In Rihab, archaeologists uncovered what may be the world's oldest purpose-built Christian church, dating to the 3rd century. Pilgrims flocked to the Jordan River, where John had baptized Jesus. For 3 centuries, Jordan flourished as a Christian land. In 636 CE came the battle that would reshape the Middle East. At Yarmouk, near the modern Syrian border, Byzantine forces met the armies of Islam. The Muslims, led by Khalid ibn al-Walid, the Sword of God, achieved a victory so complete, it shattered Byzantine power forever. Within a generation, Jordan transformed from Christian province to Muslim territory. Yet, the transition was remarkably peaceful. Christians continued to worship freely, paying a tax for the privilege, while many gradually converted. Under early Islamic caliphates, Jordan experienced both glory and neglect. The Umayyads built magnificent desert palaces, combining Byzantine, Persian, and Arab elements. But as Islamic power shifted to Damascus, then Baghdad, then Cairo, Jordan increasingly became a backwater. Ancient trade routes were bypassed. Cities declined into villages. The Crusades brought new upheaval. In 1099, Christian knights seized Jerusalem and claimed much of Jordan as the lordship of Ultra-Jourdain, beyond the Jordan. They built massive castles like Kerak and Shobak, stone sentinels that still dominate the landscape. For 2 centuries, Jordan became a battlefield between cross and crescent until Saladin expelled the Crusaders. The Mamluks of Egypt and then Ottoman Turks ruled Jordan for 7 centuries, a period marked by stagnation and decline. The Ottomans viewed Jordan merely as a tax farm and pilgrimage route to Mecca. By the early 20th century, Jordan's population had dwindled to perhaps 200,000, mostly Bedouin nomads and subsistence farmers. World War I changed everything. When the Ottoman Empire sided with Germany, Britain found willing allies in Arabs who chafed under Ottoman rule. The Arab Revolt of 1916, immortalized by Lawrence of Arabia, saw Bedouin warriors harry Turkish forces across the desert. The capture of Aqaba in 1917, a daring raid across supposedly impassable desert, proved the Ottoman age was ending. Liberation brought complications. The Sykes-Picot Agreement carved up the Middle East between Britain and France, regardless of local wishes. The Balfour Declaration promised a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Jordan, then called Transjordan, became a British mandate. But London wisely appointed a local ruler, Abdullah, son of the Sharif of Mecca. This Hashemite dynasty, claiming descent from Prophet Muhammad, provided Jordan with legitimacy many artificial Middle Eastern states lacked. Independence came in 1946, but Jordan's greatest trial lay ahead. Israel's creation in 1948 led to the First Arab-Israeli War. Jordan's Arab Legion performed better than any other Arab army, seizing the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Yet victory brought problems. An influx of Palestinian refugees that doubled Jordan's population overnight. The 1967 Six-Day War proved catastrophic. Israel captured the West Bank, depriving Jordan of its most fertile territory and holiest sites. King Hussein, who had ruled since 1953, faced his greatest crisis. Palestinian militant groups, using Jordan as a base for attacks on Israel, grew so powerful they threatened the monarchy itself. What followed was remarkable. While neighbors lurched from crisis to crisis, Hussein steered Jordan on a moderate course. He made peace with Israel in 1994, only the second Arab state to do so. He democratized gradually, granting women the vote and establishing a parliament with real powers. When he died in 1999, the world mourned a leader who had transformed his country from an artificial British creation into a genuine nation. Under King Abdullah II, Jordan has continued this trajectory. Despite lacking oil wealth, despite being surrounded by conflict in Iraq, Syria, and Palestine, despite hosting millions of refugees straining its resources, Jordan has achieved something remarkable: stability in the world's most unstable region. Its economy, based on services, tourism, and human capital rather than oil, provides a development model for the post-oil era.
Its educational system produces graduates sought throughout the Arab world.
Its political system, while imperfect, offers freedom rare in the region. Why does Jordan matter? The answer lies not in size or wealth, but in what it represents. For 9 millennia, this land has been a laboratory for human civilization. It has shown that geography is destiny, that a small country at the crossroads can punch above its weight. Most importantly, it demonstrates that in a region defined by extremes, there is space for moderation, compromise, and survival through adaptation rather than domination. Jordan faces immense challenges. Water scarcity threats its existence. Regional instability sends waves of refugees across its borders. Economic growth struggles to keep pace with population growth. Yet, history suggests Jordan will endure, as it always has, by being the bridge rather than the barrier, the mediator rather than the militant, the survivor rather than the conqueror. Petra stands today, as it has for 2,000 years, a testament to human ingenuity, carved from unforgiving stone. It reminds us that even in the harshest environments, civilization can flourish if we have the wisdom to work with nature rather than against it, to trade rather than raid, to include rather than exclude.